always comes to my mind is your war against Joel Casamayor. You were
Yeah,
very
yeah,
ahead on the cards on that one.
yeah,
Tell us
yeah,
about that one, because basically that's your first loss. What happened?
yeah, yeah. I planted a seed. Remember, I told you earlier that I used to watch Casamayor when I was 17 years old, and when Ostel, they used to call it Ostel, and it was like a pay TV where we could buy it, and I watched the fights. It was like I'd wake up at like, I think it was ridiculous hours in the morning, and I'd watch the fights. I see Casamayor. And I thought, I want to be world champion, but I'm never going to be this good. I'm never going to be this good. I remember telling myself, I'm never going to be this good. That's when I planted the seed of doubt. I planted the seed of negativity. And then when I had it in the bag, man, I won that fight. And when I was a kid, 17 years of age, I planted the seed and I threw that out the window. Like, I didn't have to knock him out. But my ego as I said to you earlier, my ego took over. And my trainer said to me, he said, look, you're already winning. Just cruise. That's it. But nah, not me. I looked over at Casamayor. Casamayor was playing. I was like, I don't want to be here kind of thing. He's so smart
Yeah.
like that. And I just ran across the ring and like a madman. And my ego took over. My ego. And then that seed was planted and whoosh, it grew. And the seed of doubt was what it was. And that was my first loss. Yeah.
Yeah, that fight, not many people can come back from a first round like the one you had, right? You got
Dropped
knocked down
twice.
twice,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then in the immediate next round, I would say even that same round, you were already tagging him, and then that
Yeah.
continued until you dropped him out almost outside. I think outside the ring, right? Which
they knocked him out of the ring. He had to get back in the ring.
which not many people can do that, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of firsts right there, but I was really impressed. Not only with the way you were throwing your jab at a guy as crafty as Joel, but the body work that you were were doing there. Because I think one of the most underrated things about your style was the way that you went to the body. You went to the body hard, and that lowered the defense of these guys. But again, as you said, you got a little greedy.
Yeah.
that created an opening for him, right?
Yep. 100%. Yes.
Are there any other fights in your career that you think don't get enough credit as those two?
Like even my second professional fight, I fought for the national title. I fought a 12-round fight for my second professional fight. People don't look at that. And the guy that I fought against was a guy that was like a two-time Olympian, James Swan. I fought him as an amateur, and he beat me. We were doing 5-2s back then. I fought him in Northern Territory, and I was coming home strong to take him out, and then someone got the power cord and went, the lights went out. The lights only in Australia, right? And then he recovered, and then it went the distance, and then he won it, right? That was an amateur fight, so I remember that fight, and
So the lights went out.
Yeah. It was only in Australia, mate. Only in Australia. Lights went out, right? And then, and then he recovered, and then he won the fight. So, because we were in the same Olympic team, right? So then, anyway, years later, he's turned pro. He's become the Australian champion. I turned pro later, and then I won a state title for my first fight. And then I was fighting an Australian professional title for my second fight against him. And that song "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
I walked out to that one like, I know you know that I know you know, and then I walked out there and I got him, man. I fought him for 12 rounds, and I won the Australian, the national title.
That's crazy.
That's something.
That your second fight, you're fighting 12 rounds and for a national title. That's crazy. Yeah, unheard of.
Yeah. So and that stands out. Like, of course, we spoke about Graham Earl fight earlier, but another one where I was really coming into my own was the fight before the fight against Kevin Mitchell. He was like, his record was up there. Hey, like 31. There's 31-1. His record, 31-1.
Oh yeah, 31-0. No, he was undefeated.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, no, he was undefeated. Yeah, so it didn't mean shit to me because
he wasn't undefeated.
And because I had to train hard anyway, and like the sort of training I was doing there was like getting up at like ridiculous hours and training when it was freezing cold because we had to get used to the cold. Like that thing there, stuff there that promoters do in other fighters in their fighters' interests like that. Like, man, you put someone from a warm country, you put them in the cold like that, man, it shivers to your bones. Hey, it takes a long time to adjust to that stuff.
Yeah.
So we had to like acclimatize and get it, and and we did that. We did that hard work. It was like, you get in a singlet and you go train in the freezing cold. I tell you now, it's going to change your life. It's yeah.
So Michael, like just to summarize this part, what would you say is your biggest moment as a professional? What would we say your biggest accomplishment? What would be the fight that you're most proud of? I want to close with that on that part.
Look, I'm proud that I took that fight against Márquez. That was the biggest part right there. Like, well, we were 2.5 weeks away from fighting Márquez, and hearing that my brother died that day. Could you imagine, like, your brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, turn your phone off, come to the gym right now. I got there and I said to my trainer, I said, "It's my brother, isn't it?" He goes, "Yeah." I just fell to the ground, man. I just started just crying and couldn't stop it. And then putting on the wraps that day to fight against the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I put on the wraps. I did 12 3-minute rounds that day. The day my brother died, that's a proud moment for me. And and I wasn't just doing it for me. I was doing it for, I want his memory too. And so I don't know how to say this. A lot of trauma came with that, and I didn't deal with it in the best way. I think when I look back, and I suppose 2 months ago I caught up with Terence Crawford. Yeah, he was in Australia, and and I said to Terence, I said, "How did you deal with it?" They give me the mic, and I asked him some questions in front of a group of people, and he goes, "Yeah, I know who you are, bro. I was scouting you out years ago. I know who you are and stuff." And then he started talking. It was cool. I said, "But how did you deal with adversity? How did you deal with when you lost someone?" I want to know, like, how, and it's how he viewed it. But he used, because almost every year he would lose someone close to him before big fights too. So he would use that loss and he would honor that person. Is how he looked at it. But it's just that simple thing, like a mindset that he took on board that way. But that's my mentality. His mentality is different. Like, I'm just like, I want to fight. I love a war. And and I had to take the hard road, didn't I? Get them all emotional about it and charge that way. Anyway, that was interesting. I learned what Terence Crawford did about it, and yeah, I suppose that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, also the fight with Juan Diaz, that was a very razor edge decision that I think it could have gone either way. You know what I mean? And it could have changed, the shape of your career. Maybe you wouldn't even had the fight with Márquez if you would have won that fight with Juan Diaz. That actually he's scheduled to come to the show in probably 2 weeks or something like that. We will tell him that we had you here and that you say hi. But Champ, let's talk about something that every fighter eventually faces, right? And it's retirement. How hard was that decision for you?
Obviously, it's pretty hard because, like, I had a fight about 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
I'm not even joking, man. I put on the gloves and I went. I love it. Like, I went to a tent. There's an old fighting tent when they got all these fighters and they call on everyone in the town and say, "All right, who's the toughest guy? Who's the toughest guy?" And I know the guy that runs it. Right? I said, "Fuck it, I want to do this." He goes, "Might make you want to?" Yeah, come on, let's do it. I put on the gloves and I fought this guy, a real big guy. I fought him. That's a dumb move, man, because, like, guys like me don't need to be getting punched at this age. It's like it's not even. I didn't even do it for the money. It's not even money. It's like because I've got this company now called Boxing Life, and it's about giving people second chances. It's about alternate programs as opposed to going to jail. And it's this company, and I need backing to do it. I need support to do it, because the government spends a lot of money. It spends $2 million per year per youth that they send to prison. That's what, because I've been through all this. We'll talk about it later if you want. But so I did that fight to raise money for this, and it started the ball rolling, and with a few political people and stuff, because I made a statement there. I put the gloves on for that reason. But yeah, man, I miss it. I do. I miss it. But that's what, and I spend my days now just training people, passing on my knowledge, and I'm pretty select with who I train and how I train. Take my time, because I'm pretty passionate about what I do, and you have to assess the person that you're training, and then you see and you pass on that knowledge to them, and that's just what I do. It's too easy for me. I like it.
Great, Wiggy.
So that's basically what you've been doing since
it keeps me alive. It keeps me alive. I'm still involved in the sport somewhat, and the best way to keep something sometimes is by giving it away. Like there's no way anyone's ever going to risk. Look, put yourself in your Márquez shoes. Like, look at what he's achieved, man. Like when he's just iced Manny Pacquiao. Think about that. Like, poosh, he's out cold. Like, how's anyone ever gonna meet that level of high? Like, that's such a big achievement. Like, it's like.
That's what I was gonna say. If Manny Pacquiao can come back, you can come back too, right?
Yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about no. But
you really want to copy Rocky's life, right? He came back when he was 60 years old against Antonio Tarver.
Be realistic about it. No one's even going to pay a couple $100,000 to see this whole duck fight. It's just got to be realistic about it. We've got to talk about what makes sense here. I've got kids to feed.
That's great. That's great.